Since the beginning of the summer 2017 anime season, there has been a lot of discussion surrounding Netflix and Amazon, particularly the way that these two companies have lapped up a bunch of the most popular and highest profile and outright best anime of the season, but have made it somewhat unavailable. Amazon's strike in the fact that they put a ridiculous paywall between you and the anime, and Netflix in that they outright aren't releasing series until a later date. People have been asking me to weigh in on this issue, but personally, I find it difficult to be bothered. A lot of the complaints about this seem to be based around the idealization of being able to watch all of your favorite anime legally and at a relatively inexpensive price. But to some extent, I have to wonder about the benefits of even doing things that way. I'm wondering who it even rewards to watch anime legally and to pay money for it. What are you getting out of it as a viewer? What are you actually throwing your money down for? It's difficult for me to see a strong correlation between the $7 that I pay Crunchyroll to use their service every month and the money that is being made by the people who actually created the shows that I want to watch on their network. If I am indeed supporting those shows in some way by watching them on Crunchyroll, it is such a minuscule amount of support that it's hard for me to even really feel good about it. It's hard for me to feel as though I've really done anything. I don't necessarily give my money to Crunchyroll because I think it's the right way to watch anime or that it's the best way to support the industry. I give my money to Crunchyroll because their service is convenient for me. I think downloading anime is a pain in the ass. The way I tend to watch stuff is very spur of the moment. I tend to suddenly have an interest in a show and want to watch it immediately, so I'm gonna go online and find it as fast as I can and watch it right in that moment. I don't want to have to wait for it to download. I certainly don't want to go around looking for a torrent. I'm personally not the biggest stickler for video quality in the anime that I watch. I just want it to look at least presentable. I don't really care how good the subtitles are because I can understand Japanese fairly well, and I even kind of enjoy getting to correct the subtitles when I think they're not quite accurate. So for me, all that really matters is that the show is of watchable quality, has subtitles at all that aren't in horribly broken English, and is available. So 99% of the time when I want to watch a show, what I do is I open Google and I type watch the name of the show. For instance, Watch Made in Abyss. Now, if I type Watch Made in Abyss and the first result is Crunchyroll, I'm gonna click on Crunchyroll and I'm gonna watch it right there. If I type that in and the first result is Kiss Anime and there's nothing else on the page that looks official, I'm gonna watch it on Kiss Anime. Why? Because Kiss Anime is providing the service that I actually want. I want it to be available, I want it to be in halfway decent quality, and I want there to be readable subtitles. That's all I want. I have a Netflix account, and I don't watch much anime on there even if it's available, because the Netflix subtitles are often planted right at the bottom of the screen where they're barely readable while also looking up at what's happening on the screen. And sometimes they're not even synchronized correctly. The first time I really tried to watch anime on Netflix, I watched Samurai Champloo back in 2014, and the subtitles were like a full second and a half off from the audio, and it was extremely jarring. They simply aren't giving me the experience I want. I don't care how legal it is, I don't even care if it's cheap. If they're not giving me what I want, they're not getting my money. Amazon's strike just charges too absurd an amount of money for me to throw it at a service that I can't see the clear correlation between how my money is supporting the people making the show. I understand that Amazon's getting a lot of my money, and the production committee behind the show might be getting a lot of my money, but are the people who actually made the show good seeing any of this money? Is there any way to actually put money in the hands of the people making the show without going through any middlemen? To be completely honest, I stopped buying anime Blu-rays some time ago because I don't want the product. I would love to buy Blu-rays if I felt that it was a direct one-to-one correlation with the director of the show I love gets to direct another show. But I just don't see that correlation happening. I don't have the data to tell me that that is exactly what's gonna happen. I know that Funimation's getting some of my money, and I don't care for Funimation. I don't watch dubs. I think their subtitles are often inaccurate. Their Blu-rays often lie about what level level of quality they're at. Their streaming service looks like ass. I don't want to give them my money. I don't want to own another Blu-ray to take up space on my shelf that I will never watch, because it's so much more effort to pull a Blu-ray out of the case than it is to just type Watch Log Horizon into Google and just watch it on Crunchyroll. I will buy anime products sometimes if I like the show and I like the product, and I hope that some of that money is going to the artists. But do I really want to support the production committees? Do I really want to support the industry as a whole when the industry is so badly run? When I feel like the industry should be taken apart and rebuilt from the ground up on some level? Like, we're not exactly supporting an industry with great business practices. You've probably read 1,000 articles by now about how animators are criminally underpaid, and how people in this industry are constantly overworked. And you see every single season the way that this industry prioritizes quantity over quality of shows. The way that we're throwing more and more and more talent and work into more and more bullshit anime that doesn't need to exist. If the anime industry dies, it won't be because people weren't buying enough Blu-rays. It won't be because people weren't buying the right streaming services. It will be because the industry didn't figure out how to get your money from you in an effective way. They didn't figure out how to sell you the product you actually want to buy at the price point you'd be willing to buy it, which is what economics is all about. I shouldn't have to feel cheated out of my money. I shouldn't have to feel like I'm giving money to people who I don't even know what they did, really. This is why I've been such a huge proponent of this idea that's been going around that is supposedly going to happen of Trigger opening a Patreon page. Because I understand exactly what's happening there, especially if they lay out the way that the money will be working when they do it. I understand who Trigger are. I've seen them all around. They talk about their shows. They explain exactly what they did. And if I was giving money to Trigger, I would know, hey, I'm giving my money to the people who make the shows I like. That's where the money's going. I don't even need a product. The product is the show. I don't want a Blu-ray of Little Witch Academia. I just want to pay them to make Little Witch Academia. If they just host it up on a website with decent subtitles, I'll be fucking gold. And before you say, isn't that exactly what Crunchyroll is? When I pay for Crunchyroll, I'm paying for the entire service. I'm paying for all the shows that are on there. And I don't want that. I just want to pay the people who make the things I like. I don't want to have to buy the entire anime industry, which I don't necessarily want to support, in order to pay some pittance to these few companies that I actually care about. Now, I do realize that crowdfunding is not likely to work for anime because anime requires a lot of money to be made. And most people aren't willing to shell out just for a show what they would shell out for a Blu-ray. And so for those Blu-rays to exist, you've got to involve all these other companies who are going to co-fund the anime. But again, the problem is a shifting dynamic. Nobody wants Blu-rays anymore. We have to make it clear to people what they have to pay to get anime they want. We have to make it clear that if you want to have a show of this certain level of production quality, here's how much that show costs, here's how much we need to make from you. And if we can cut out some of those middlemen and just make it a direct understanding between the fans and the people creating the shows, I think we'd be in a much healthier spot here. Different businesses are run differently. Not everybody wants to be completely transparent about things, but that's just the way that the world kind of works now. It's hard to make people want to pay for something that they can get for free, especially if you're not going to offer a better version of the product than the free one. Selling anime cannot be an easy business right now, but the solutions that are in place just don't seem to work all that well, in my opinion. And it's especially hard when the model by which anime is released is still this kind of antiquated TV release style. Shows coming out one episode per week, and you don't know if it's going to be a good show all the way through until the end. You're basically buying a product in piecemeal that you hope will eventually be satisfying. If you asked me what would be the ideal model for me personally for viewing and purchasing anime, it would be like this. A 13-episode series drops on a streaming service that I may be paying for. Then at the end, a little donation box opens up and says, put in how much money you thought that show was worth. And then I put in, oh, that show was great. I put in $50. Oh, that show was kinda it's $10, you know, I didn't enjoy it. You guys didn't give me the product I wanted, so I'm not gonna fucking pay you. you, or, you know, oh, this show sucked, I'm not gonna pay for it. I guess that's all I really would ask for, is just a donation button at the end of the last episode of every video that comes on Crunchyroll. Just give me a way to fucking pay for the product I actually want. That's why I can't be too bothered about the Netflix and Amazon shit. I already wasn't watching shows if they get on Netflix or Amazon or Funimation. I only watch it if it's on Crunchyroll because Crunchyroll makes things really fucking convenient for me. And if these services aren't gonna offer something as convenient as Crunchyroll, or at least as convenient as Kiss fucking Anime, then, well, they can fuck off. I am not going to feel any moral guilt for refusing to pay for a product that I do not want. Anyway, that's all for this rant. I hope you enjoyed. I probably didn't put any footage or anything on this just because what the hell would I? Stick around on my channel for some more regular content coming soon. Check out my playlist of every YouTube video featuring Digibro if you want to see more from me. Check out my new music channel if you happen to be into music. It's called Digibro's Turntable. I've been putting out a ton of content over there. I've been really excited about it, and you should check it out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.